You know the exact feeling. Someone asks you a simple question. Maybe a coworker asks why you were 5 minutes late. Or a friend asks why you can't make it to dinner on Friday night. A normal person would just say, "Traffic was bad," or "I have other plans, but let's catch up later." But not you. You send a text, then you send another text. You explain the exact route you took, the specific traffic light where you got stuck, and how you actually left your house 10 minutes early just to be safe. You don't just say you can't come to dinner. You explain your entire financial situation, your mental exhaustion, and apologize 3 times. You sent the message, and instantly, you feel a wave of regret. Why did I say all of that? They didn't even ask. Society tells you that you just talk too much. People might call you insecure or assume you lack confidence. But if you are someone who constantly over-explains, over-justifies, and over-apologizes for every tiny decision you make, psychology tells us something completely different. You are not just a talkative person, and you are definitely not broken. Over-explaining is actually a highly tuned, deeply ingrained survival mechanism. It is a psychological shield, and to understand why you wear it, we have to look at where it was forged. To understand the chronic over-explainer, we must go back to the beginning. Imagine a child growing up in an environment where mistakes were not allowed to just be mistakes. If a glass of water was spilled, it wasn't an accident. It was a disaster that required an investigation. Or perhaps the child grew up around adults whose moods were wildly unpredictable. One day, a small mistake was ignored. The next day, that exact same mistake triggered an explosive reaction. In this kind of high-tension environment, a child quickly realizes that simply telling the truth is not enough to keep them safe. Saying, "I accidentally dropped the glass," does not stop the anger. So, the child's brain develops a brilliant defense strategy. The preemptive defense. The child learns that if they can provide every single detail, every tiny piece of context, and show their exact thought process before the adult gets angry, they might be able to avoid the punishment. They learn to build a bulletproof court case for their innocence. "I dropped the glass, but it's because the floor was slippery, and I was trying to clean up, and I really didn't mean to. And I'm so sorry." Over-explaining becomes a tool to de-escalate tension. Psychology refers to this as the Fawn trauma response. We all know about fight, flight, or freeze when faced with danger. But fawning is when you try to avoid conflict by aggressively pleasing the other person and erasing your own boundaries. Over-explaining is a verbal fawn response. It is the voice of a nervous system that still believes it is on trial. Years pass. You grow up. You are no longer that child, and the people around you are no longer those unpredictable adults. You are safe. But your brain doesn't know that. Your subconscious is still running the exact same survival software. When your boss asks you a simple question about a project, your brain perceives it as a threat. The radar turns on. Your heart rate spikes. And before you even realize what you are doing, you are giving a 5-minute monologue to justify a simple spreadsheet. But here is the most tragic paradox of over-explaining. You do it because you want people to understand you. You do it because you want to prove that your intentions are good. But to the outside world, it has the exact opposite effect. In adult relationships and in the professional world, over-explaining actually makes you look guilty when you did absolutely nothing wrong. Think about it. When someone is lying, what do? They give too many details. They create complex stories. So, when you over-explain an innocent mistake, other people's subconscious instincts tell them, "Why are they defending themselves so hard? They must be hiding something." You spend your entire life trying to prove your innocence, but your defense mechanism is the very thing making you look guilty. This creates a heartbreaking loop of isolation. You feel misunderstood, so you explain more. They pull away because you are overwhelming them, so you explain even more. Let's talk about the cognitive load, the sheer exhaustion of living this way. An average person speaks to share information, but the over-explainer speaks to control the narrative. When you are over-explaining, you are basically playing a game of 4D chess in your head. As you are talking, you are analyzing the other person's facial expressions. If they look slightly confused, your brain screams, "They are judging me! Explain it differently!" You try to predict every possible counter-argument they might have, and you try to answer those arguments before they can even speak. You are carrying the emotional weight of two people. You are taking responsibility for your actions, and you are trying to take responsibility for how they react to your actions. No wonder you feel completely drained after a simple coffee date with a friend. No wonder you constantly replay conversations in your head at 3 a.m., wondering if you said too much or if they took it the wrong way. Your brain is permanently stuck in the witness stand, begging the jury for approval. So, how do you break free from this exhausting cycle? How do you put down the shield? It starts with a radical, almost terrifying shift in mindset. You have to realize that in adult life, you do not need a court-approved defense for your existence. The next time someone asks you a question or you need to say no to a request, you must practice the art of the period. I can't make it to dinner on Friday. Period. I decided to go in a different direction with this project. Period. When you stop talking, there will be silence. And to a chronic over-explainer, that silence will feel like pure danger. Your survival instinct will scream at you to fill that gap with words, with apologies, with context. Let the silence sit. Do not rescue the other person from it. You must accept one fundamental truth. You cannot control how other people perceive you. Even if you give them a 10-page essay explaining your motives, if someone wants to misunderstand you, they will. And if someone truly cares about you, they don't need the essay. If you recognize yourself in this video, if you are tired of always feeling like you are on trial, you need to know that your brain did not betray you. It did a perfect job. It gave you a voice to protect yourself when you were powerless. But you are not powerless anymore. The jury has gone home. The trial is over. You are allowed to just exist. You are allowed to make a choice without explaining the math behind it. You are allowed to be misunderstood. Because the ultimate freedom for an over-explainer is realizing that the only person who actually needs to understand your choices is you. Welcome to Being Shared. You are not alone, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. If this video helped you understand your own mind a little better, subscribe, and let's keep learning together. I will see you in the next one.